to this week's edition of Ask Ron, where Gold Club members ask Ron questions. I've got Ron here with me today. How are you doing, Ron?
Outstanding.
Awesome.
Getting a little chilly down here now.
It is.
But we don't have 6 feet of snow.
That is true. Well, I do want to remind you guys that this is a benefit for our Gold Club members. So if you're not a Gold Club member, how can they get signed up, Ron?
ronsgoldclub.com.
That's right, and I'll make sure to include that down in the description as well. Well, we'll go ahead and get started with this. First question comes from Tony and Angie Stewart. They said, hey Ron, recently spoke to a seller who had to get out of a pre-foreclosure situation, but he's having trouble meeting this new deal that he's made with the bank. The ARV on the property is $275,000. It has $10,000 in repairs that it needs, and his approximate loan balance is $196,000. Market rents are for $2,000, and his PITI payments are $1,695.
Wow.
The concern is about the monthly payments. When you consider reserve, it seems it barely meets cash flow needs. However, with the above market rent payment, if we could get on a work for equity exit, how much would you expect for a work for equity exit where the market rents are $2,000?
Well, you said it only needed about $10,000 in work, Tony. That's not a rehab. That's just a fix. Do minor stuff to it. It would be smarter if you do the minor stuff to it. But I didn't hear what you're paying in here. What are you paying?
The PITI payments are $1,695. I don't think that
the balance of the loan.
$196,000.
Does that include all of the fees and attorney's fees that are added to the principal balance? I don't know. And I don't know how much cash you're talking about to get in it to begin with.
All right. Well, Tony, if you want to shoot us over an email, maybe to the ask@ronlegrand.com.
No, Tony, just go find out, if you don't already know, I'm sure you do, what the seller's loan balance will be after it's brought current, and then how much does it take to bring it current. That'll determine whether you want to do the deal or not, because you're very close now.
Well, it sounds like, with the question, it sounds like the seller has already brought it current. Recently rolled over his arrearage with the bank to get out of pre-foreclosure. So it sounds like he has gotten out of foreclosure already.
That's good. Okay. Well, I'd go get a contract on it if I were you before somebody else does, because you know you're not the only one chasing them, and work out details later. I know you're going to take over his debt, but you didn't tell me. I don't think you told me how much cash he's looking for on top of that.
No, I don't see that in here. Sounds like something he's just trying to get out of because he's having trouble making payments.
Well, if I were you, I'd go get it. Get it under contract, no matter. You can always change it before you close, but that's your offer. I'm going to buy your property, make your payments until I get you cashed out in the future. That's the gist of it. But if they have to have a down payment of any kind above what their arrearage is, you better have that clear in your head before you go fill out the contract. Get it in writing quickly.
All right. Next up is Steven Jefferson. He says, hey Ron, what would you do in this scenario? I've got a rental property in Pennsylvania, a 3-bed, 2-bath, single-family home. It has an $87,000 mortgage on it, which I did before I entered your world. The tenant will be vacating the house this January. I would like to lease option it to a tenant buyer. How would you handle this situation? I was thinking a wrap, but I'm still a little bit unclear on the concept.
Well, that is a wrap. Attorney draws the wrap up, and that just means they're making you a payment bigger than you're making to the bank. Forget about all the documents. You just let the attorney see that it's a wrap. And that is assuming a attorney knows how to do a wrap. Make sure you ask that question first. But remember, you're on personal liability on that thing. And if you put a tenant buyer in there and they move out, you got to make the payments to protect your credit and the house. You might be better just to list it, cash out of it, since you're personally guaranteeing the underlying debt.
All right, next question comes from Lucky Luck. It says, hey, Mr. Ron, Lucky from North Carolina here.
Hey, Lucky.
He said, thank you very much for opening my eyes on how to do pretty house deals. But how do you usually determine the ARV for a house built in the early 1900s? This one specifically is located in a small town where properties are spread far apart, and all the other comparables in the area were built in the 1940s and newer.
1940s and 1910, there ain't much difference. All of them are going to be ready to whack you, because you're going to find stuff that you're not going to miss on going around it. And I just don't like old houses, man. That might require new plumbing, it might require new electrical throughout the house. So if there's a big enough spread in it, I'd buy it. If there's nothing around it hindering it from being sold, I might buy it. But I'd certainly list it with a realtor to sell it if I did.
Hey Ron, I just got through your Pretty House Terms course. What should be my next step, and how should I be spending my time?
Your next step is to generate leads, and there's a bunch of ways to do that. I don't really know if you've been trained yet. Have you been a quick start yet? There's where you get your basic training. So if you haven't been, or even if you have, it's free to come back. Come back and see me for 4 days. Next one's in January. They're all on our site. Until you do that, it's going to be hard for you to propel yourself forward like you want to do, because you're missing all the basics of the business. And you know, it's kind of like trying to get into college and skip high school. You got to get trained before you can start implementing. If you don't, you just run around in circles trying to figure out what to do next, not getting any progress, doing all the wrong stuff, and not even doing a very good job of contacting the sellers on the leads you generate. And all that's not your fault, because everything I just told you is normal for most people getting in. And so you start by generating leads. And the two things you got to master is generating leads and the closing call. Both of them are in there. And I got a course on generating leads. It's 3 days long, but honestly, you get to my boot camp and there ain't but 2 or 3 things you need to use now, because we just got a new program called Dreams Pro AI. And it does, it makes you pull a list for free, your own list, based on the criteria you put in it, and it will mail for you. You can put a postcard in the mail cheaper than I can buy the stamp. So get the training and look at all the vendors outside, and quit searching around and trying to find the perfect vendor, because there is no such a thing. And let's get the deal flow started. If you get the deal flow started, you've cracked the hardest nut. But it might take you a little while to do that. But you got to do it if you're going to stay in this business. And gosh, I teach that at Quick Start. I have 2 courses on that subject as well. And I probably even got some Gold Club videos on it. So you start by deciding what you're going to do next. And if it is ready to show, I put a lease option tenant buyer in it. And if it is ready to show, you have the option of just listing with a realtor and get rid of it, which is a choice every time I do something. Should I list it or should I not? And if there's enough spread in it, I'll just list it. And a little cash coming in ain't going to hurt anything. On the other hand, if I keep it and it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem property for me, then I'll lease option it. And that's assuming that it's in pretty good shape. We buy cash, we sell cash. We buy on terms, we sell on terms.
All right, and last but not least, why should I use land trusts in my real estate business?
Privacy, number 1. Nobody can find out who the beneficial interest is. Number 2, it's easy to transfer the property from me to you, because all I have to do is fill out one assignment of trust piece of paper, hand it to you. You now own the property. You own a trust that owns the property. It eliminates any problem with acting like a realtor, because you are just flipping them without buying them, and realtors kind of found on that. Estate planning. If I'm the beneficiary of the trust and then I die, somebody else can be put into the trust as beneficiary, probably the spouse, and there won't be any taxes. Nobody will even know it happened, because you don't record anything down at the courthouse. And lien avoidance. If you get a lien against you, it will attach to a property you own. You may be in a state where they can't levy it and take your property, or you may not, but either way, when you get ready to sell that property, you're going to have to figure out how to get that lien holder off of your back. So all of these things are good reasons. No, there is no reason not to put a property into a land trust. And if somebody convinces you you've done something evil, all you got to do is deed it back to you. You don't lose anything. There's no taxes on it. If it's an investment property and you're doing the tax return on it, it has a net operating income, and it has a gain. And if it has a gain or a loss, all you got to do is put the K1 in your tax returns, and anybody looking at your tax returns won't even know you did a real estate transaction.
All right. Well, that's all that I got for you, Ron. Is there anything else you want to say to the people?
Yeah, I am sure that they got about half of what I just said. But I'll see you soon. Hopefully we'll get the rest of it. Now, there's a ton of stuff about land trusts on the Gold Club site, guys. Just go up under training, put in a land trust. And then under resources, all the documents are there for land trust. The land trust agreement, the deed, copy, blank deed is there. And the assignment is there. All of the things that have to do with land trust are there, as well as the training.
All right.
That's it.